Announcing the commencement of the first purge.
I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags, and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
And good morning, everyone. It's July 18th, 2018. I'm Eric. I'm here at Activist Post. The U.S. government has lost enough radioactive material to bomb Nagasaki 800 times. Coming from Matt Argist. When civilian contractors who use certain radioactive substances to test pipe strength or other inspections lose these items, news agencies widely report it, and a massive search is conducted until it is found. However, as a recent case out of San Antonio illustrates, when government loses one of its most dangerous radioactive substances on the planet, which could be used to create nuclear bombs to wipe out entire countries, we all hear all we hear are proverbial crickets. In March of 2017, two security experts traveled to San Antonio from the Department of Energy's Idaho National Laboratory on a highly sensitive mission. They were directed to retrieve extremely dangerous nuclear materials from a research lab. As mysanantonio.com reports, their task, according to the documents and interviews, was to ensure that the radioactive materials did not fall into the wrong hands on the way back to Idaho, where the government maintains a stockpile of nuclear explosive materials for the Army and others. To ensure they got the right items, the specialists from Idaho brought radiation detectors and small samples of dangerous materials to calibrate them, specifically a plastic-covered disc of plutonium, a material that could be used to fuel nuclear weapons, and another of cesium, a highly radioactive isotope that could potentially be used in a so-called dirty bomb. These two highly trained security experts then checked into a Marriott hotel on the way back to Idaho and allegedly left the ingredients which could be used to blow up a city in the back of their Ford Expedition. When they went out to the SUV the next morning, they claimed that all their testing equipment and the ingredients for a nuclear bomb were missing. A year has passed since the plutonium, one of the most dangerous and valuable substances on the planet, has vanished, and federal officials have yet to locate it. They also lost cesium as well, which is also still missing. Despite repeated calls by reporters about the March 21st incident, not a single public announcement has been made by the San Antonio Police or the FBI. According to mysanantonio.com, when asked, officials at the lab and in San Antonio declined to say exactly how much plutonium and cesium were missing. but Idaho lab spokeswoman Sarah Newman said the plutonium in particular wasn't enough to be fashioned into a nuclear bomb, but this is irrelevant considering how much nuclear material the government has lost. Adding a more ominous overtone to this situation is the fact that this plutonium is part of a larger amount that has mysteriously gone missing over the years, which was all owned by the U.S. military. Every time it happens, the government chooses to remain silent. In Arlington, Virginia, on August 1st, 2017, President Donald Trump echoed the sentiment of his predecessor and noted that we must prevent nuclear weapons and materials from coming into the hands of terrorists and being used against us or anywhere in the world for that matter. Okay, remember that EMP that people keep talking about? Remember how I said that the evidence against the Clintons and the rest of the deep state is on servers, both in New York and what is that place? That giant center in Utah, the data collection center. And if they really wanted to, all they had to do is go get or extract that information from these servers. And they would have all the evidence that they need. I proposed that these people would get so desperate at some point to keep certain information from the public eye that they would detonate a EMP to destroy that evidence. And here we are now with all this radioactive material missing enough to make apparently 800 Nagasaki bombs. They're failing miserably at the task of finding this material. In fact, the government has lost so much plutonium and other ingredients for nuclear weapons that they have their acronym for it. And it's materials unaccounted for, or MUF, MUF. To be clear, over the years, the U.S. government has lost enough radioactive material to build hundreds of nuclear bombs. A whopping 6 tons of material has been lost or declared MUF by the government, material unaccounted for, and those numbers are only through 2012. Considering the potential health risks associated with these materials and the potential for misuse should they fall into the wrong hands, the quantities written off were significant, the Inspector General's report stated at the time. Calling the loss of 6 tons of this material significant is a dramatic understatement, considering that it only takes around 7 pounds of plutonium to create a nuclear warhead. To put this into perspective, the amount of plutonium used in Fat Man, the bomb the U.S. dropped on Nagasaki in 1945, that led to the deaths of 80,000 civilians, was only 14 pounds, which this means the missing nuclear waste, which has been irresponsibly misplaced by our protectors is enough to carry out over 800 Nagasaki's. But fret not, free world. The government of highly trained experts is keeping you safe. So, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if 800 nuclear bombs go off in this country. Don't be surprised if one goes off in this country, because the motive is there. The motive is there. Get rid of the evidence that would certainly prosecute the Clintons and many other people. Hope everyone has a great day. Kill the state before the state kills you.